Hello, and welcome to Unity of Fredericksburg. My name is Janetta, and I am pleased to welcome all of you to the Unity of Fredericksburg weekly online gathering. At Unity of Fredericksburg, we are advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. We thank those of you watching on YouTube, live or later, and invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are able to attend live, we encourage you to join us in the Zoom community room for the full Sunday morning experience, including music, prayer, and connection. Our weekly newsletter includes the Sunday service link, and you can subscribe to receive that on our website at uofva.org. For everyone local to Central Virginia, Unity of Fredericksburg offers a variety of fun and enriching in-person gatherings every month. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter at uofva.org for all the details. Our message today comes from our minister, Reverend Cheryl Fare. And now, here's Reverend Cheryl.
Thank you, Johnetta, and hello, everyone who is in the Zoom room right here, right now with me. I'm so glad to have you with me, and all of you who might be watching on YouTube, whether you're watching now or later, we appreciate you showing up and being a part of this energy that we call Unity of Fredericksburg. Our broadcast date today is Sunday, April the 6th. Easter is coming soon, so I have a few riddles for you. Easter riddles, all right? So what do you call an unconventional Easter egg? Egg-centric. How many Easter eggs can you fit in an empty basket? Only one. After that, it's not empty anymore. And here's the third one. Why are Easter bunnies more tired when Easter is in April? Because they've just finished a long march. Ha. All right, so that's the silliness for this morning. I'm excited today because we're shifting gears here this morning. For the first quarter of 2025, we focused on the season for nonviolence and some really rich themes and reminders about how we show up in the world. And we will continue talking and working with that. And in particular, we're going to continue looking at the theories of unitive justice going forward. But on Sunday morning, we're shifting gears. We're going to start focusing on foundations of the unity belief system. So what is the nature of God? What is the nature of humanity? How do we approach these big questions and make the answers feel real in our hearts? So, just a little tiny topic, right? So we're just going to start getting warmed up on it today. We're going to focus in on what is the nature of God. Now, those of you that know me know I like to look things up, right? I like to look at let's see what's the definition. So I went on the internet and asked the internet, AI, whatever, what is God? So here was the first definition that came up. Definition of God: the supreme or ultimate reality. I liked that one. But it continues as a longer sentence. So here's the rest of the sentence. Such as a being perfect in power, wisdom, and goodness, who is worshipped as creator and ruler of the universe. And then it specifies the monotheistic religions of Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and Hinduism. So it starts out good, kind of tell you the supreme or ultimate reality, but then it goes into this a being. So this understanding of God as an entity, as a being, a supernatural being that does things and creates things and destroys things and passes judgment and grants approval, that kind of mindset of what is God has been around for eons, right? Many centuries, and you might resonate with it in some ways and you might not, right? Christianity in particular provides and artwork and Christian-based artwork provides images of God, from this giving God human characteristics, so essentially making God in our image, right? And generally that God shows up as a white man with a flowing beard. We've all been exposed to this, whether you went to church as a kid or not. We've seen it in culture and in artwork. And some of us might have those moments where we resonate with that because maybe it feels comforting or supportive or feels like there's something there providing guidance. But many of us have felt no association with that or had a negative one. So we might look at that image of God and see it as male and go, I'm not male. I don't resonate with that. You might see this white God and go, my skin doesn't look like that. That doesn't have anything to do with me. Um, so you might have had those kind of moments in your life. And it could be that when you were young, if you went to church, you actually saw more images of Jesus. Same kind of questions go with that if Jesus is presented as a white man. So um, just before I move on from that, I just want to mention as a side note, so there are not images of God in Judaism or Islam, because that is idolatry, right? That is creating an idol. So you don't see that in Judaism or Islam. And you also don't see it in Hinduism, images of the one God. In Hinduism, you do see many, many images of kind of lesser gods, junior gods, that kind of thing. But I just wanted to mention that these images that we may have, been exposed to, we probably all have been exposed to at one point, of this kind of white male guy, is very much a Christian thing, and probably a European thing also. So let me get off of that side note. So this image of a God that is sort of made in our image. So it's, and it's a God that is a being that does things, that grants things and takes things away. Very prevalent in human culture across many cultures. Here in the United States, around the mid 1800s, a different mindset started to come forth in literature. And there was a movement called the Transcendentalist movement, a philosophical and literary movement emphasizing individualism, intuition, and the divinity that is found in nature. So here's a popular quote. It's attributed to Ralph Waldo Emerson that kind of gives you a glimpse into this. Nothing is at last sacred but the integrity of your own mind. Here's another example, this one from Henry David Thoreau. It's not a quote, but it's just that he saw God not as a distant controlling figure, but as an ever-present force within nature and within each individual. So the belief system started to shift and change and open up to different possibilities. And this transcendentalist movement set the stage for another American movement known as the New Thought movement. So, folks in the New Thought movement took the ideas put forth by the transcendentalists and brought them into the realm of spirit and religion. So, these are folks that rather than, they were all very knowledgeable about different forms of Christianity in particular. Rather than following the edicts of the church, this is what it means and this is how we do it, they all sought to go back before the church and draw out the eternal truths that were present before all of the rules and structure and culture that the church brought. So these folks were folks who developed things like Christian Science, religious science, which is also still around today, known as science of mind, and unity. So all of these spiritual paths that I mentioned are based on Christian teachings. And again, what they sought was to get out of all of the rules and things created around church and be like, what is the thread of truth in the teachings? And in particular, with unity, unity is in particular based on the teachings of Jesus rather than the teachings about Jesus. And there's plenty in the Bible, in the New Testament, that was put into the Bible 100, 200, 300 years after Jesus taught. And that's where that Christian culture starts. The Unity founders wanted to go, let's go back. What did he actually teach? What is the persistent truth revealed there? Now, just wanted, as a side note, mention that here at Unity of Fredericksburg, we're going to have a class specifically on the teachings of Jesus. It starts on April 10th, goes every Thursday for 6 weeks. So in that class, we're going to really dive into specifically the teachings of Jesus. So sign up for that if you would like to participate. It's on Zoom. All right. So the ideas of the New Thought movement sent our Unity founders, in particular Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, back to Scripture, looking with new eyes, taking away the filters of what the church says was right and how we do things and what things mean, and sent them back and looking at what is the nature of God? What is God? So, is God defined in the Bible? Now, the Old Testament emphasizes, like, talks about God, right? It emphasizes God as this spiritual being, gives it human characteristics, it's doing, not doing, all of these kinds of things. But again, like, doesn't define what is God. Where is God defined? Jesus defines God. And provides a definition, actually provides two definitions. So the first is cited in two different places in the Gospel of John. Jesus states, God is love. Now, he's not saying God is a being that is loving. God is love. That energy that we call love, that shows up in lots of different ways, lots of different levels, that energy itself is God. He also provides one other definition. What is God? This again, Gospel of John, and he states God is spirit. Not a spirit having certain qualities. The ancient roots of the word spirit, as it comes through all the translations, and I'm not a biblical theorist, so I can't tell you what it was in Aramaic and Greek and all of that, but the ancient roots of the word spirit is breath. So just think of what is God, the actual breath itself, that movement in and out, that interaction with all that is. So this is how Jesus defined it. And as with Jesus's his other teachings, this was a real change from how God had been defined and talked about in Judaism, and Jesus was a Jew, and his audience were Jewish. He was talking some new stuff. So the Unity founders, going back and looking with fresh eyes, are finding Jesus giving that definition, and they're inspired by the transcendentalists, right? And they respond in a variety of ways. So here's a quote from Emily Cady, who's the author of Lessons in Truth, and she collaborated with Myrtle and Charles Fillmore to present answers to what is unity? What are we talking about? So here's Emily Cady. The concept of God as a large, powerful man seated on a throne far away is erased when spiritual understanding illumines the mind. Jesus said God is spirit. Divine mind and spirit are virtually the same. If we know about mind, we know about spirit or God. So there's Emily Cady. Here's Myrtle Fillmore. We are studying spiritual science to get a broader conception of God rather than holding to the view that he is a personal being with parts like a man, a being subject to change and capable of varying moods. Though personal to each one of us, God is it, neither male nor female, but principle. God is not a cold, senseless principle like that of mathematics, but the principle of life, love, and intelligence. So, based on these definitions provided by Jesus, we're no longer limited by an image of a deity resembling a superhuman sitting on a throne. We begin to work with a definition of the divine as spirit, love, principle, life, intelligence. All right. Now, another thing that Jesus showed us, shined the light on, is that we are one with that which we call God. So Jesus, he spoke of God as Father. He showed up talking about God as if it's a personal, cherished relationship. This was very new, very different for the people that he was speaking to in that time. It was revolutionary to have this kind of loving relationship, which is what he was trying to communicate by using the word Father. But he didn't talk about the Father like it is in human terms as a separate physical being. He said, the Father and I are one. And when he says that, he was not just talking about himself. What he was doing was showing us our relationship with Source. The Father and I are one. I am one with the divine. And in case we didn't get it, which a lot of folks didn't at the time, he reiterates it in the 17th chapter of the Gospel of John, that just as he is saying he is one with the Father, so are we one with the Father with us. We are one. And this, friends, is the core of what we believe in unity, oneness. This fundamental belief in God as the one presence and one power. And it leads through perfect spiritual logic to the second principle of unity. So if there's only one presence and one power, and we cannot be separate from that in oneness, then we're naturally a part of it, an expression of it. So it's not like there's God and there's me, because look, that's more than one, right? That's two. No, there's only one. oneness. I am one with the Father. So the second principle in unity identifies humanity's position as an expression of all that is. Now, we're not sitting here saying that we think that we are, that powerful God sitting on a throne. We're not saying that. It does mean that all that is the energy of the universe is available to us as we do our spiritual practice, center ourselves in prayer and meditation. So we can observe the energy of the divine love, strength, faith, and we can observe those within ourselves as well. Now, some of us might have, a little difficult moment with that. Oh, I'm only human. No. Let's talk about how we do this, right? So, one of the aspects of that which we call God is in the 12 powers, the power of life. Now, here in the US, it is springtime. This energy of life is exploding all over the place in blossoms of all sorts and pollen in the air and all kinds of changes. The very energy of the life of God erupting forth joyfully. And believe it or not, each and every one of us has that very quality within ourselves, within every cell in our body. You know it. So let's say you're in the kitchen and you're cutting up some carrots or whatever, and you accidentally cut your finger. It's not a deep cut or anything. It bleeds a little bit. You got to wrap it up a little bit, but then you kind of move on and forget about it because you don't have to worry about it. Because the cells in your body are activated by this power of life that is an aspect of God. The cells of your finger know what to do. They come back together in perfect health without you worrying about it. You don't have to pray over it. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to, it's just happening all the time in your body. So when you get to this level of realization, you can take hold of this awareness and work with it through all of the aspects of your life. One of the best tools is the use of the word I am. So my title today is God is, I am. And those are kind of like the short versions of Unity's first principle and second principle. So it's no surprise in the Old Testament, in the book of Exodus, where Moses has a conversation with a burning bush and says, what should I tell you? What should I tell people that you call yourself? Talking to God. And it replies, I am that I am. Say that aloud, my friends, right now. I am that I am. Notice how it brings the energy of the divine into its proper alignment within you. I am that I am. So we are reminded in unity to always be mindful of our I am, of whatever we put after. So you might want to think about, rather than I am tired, you could say, I'm feeling tired. Because whatever you put after that I am, you're giving it energy, right? You want to learn to use that I am. So here's a quote from Charles Fillmore. It's from 1923 about how you can begin to work with this concept of God as being present in everything and within you. He says, begin your demonstration wherever you are. You can take it in small bites. You can say, I am life, and you will get life. You can say, I am love, and you will get a manifestation of love larger than you've ever had before. You can say, I am strength, I am power, whatever you need. So However you begin, whatever you call it, an awareness of God is essential to any spiritual practice, of that energy of the universe, whatever you call it. Here's one more quote from Emily Cady, and then we're going to go into our time of meditation. We're going to really practice on going deeper with this to a level of feeling and knowing. So here's one last quote from Emily Cady. God is not a being or person having life, intelligence, love, power. God is that invisible, intangible, but very real something we call life. God is perfect love and infinite power. God is the total of these, the total of all good, whether manifested or unexpressed. So we're going to practice that now, my friends. We're going to do a little bit longer of a meditation today. I've tried to be a little shorter with my commentary so that we can practice together. All right? So take a deep breath. If you wish, you can allow your outer eyes to drift closed or just soften your gaze, whatever works for you. I want you to bring to mind a favorite scene of yours from nature. All right, could be something that you see right outside your door today, or at the local park, or a place that you've been in the past that took your breath away. In your imagination, just look at the beauty from that scene. Hear the sounds in that scene, whether it's water or wind or the gentle tinkling of leaves and branches. Feel the air on your skin. Feel the sun on your face. Recognize the energy of those surroundings and realize that energy is the essence of God in that moment. Let's take a few moments of silence just to reflect on that and feel it. All right, take another deep breath. Just kind of erase the chalkboard of that scenario, going, I noticed. Bring along whatever you've noticed. Tuck it away. So we're going to move to a different scenario. So take another deep breath. And I want you to bring to mind a time you spent with a youngster. So this could be an animal, a kitten, a puppy, a foal. This could be a human child, a baby, a toddler, a young adult, an interaction that you recall. And allow your feelings to flow. Feel the love bubbling up beneath your ribs. Feel the love spreading from your heart out through your arms into your hands. Perhaps there was a hug or a gift given, the expression of love happening. Feel the love radiating forth through your human senses, from your eyes. Perhaps there were tears of joy involved. You can't keep the smile from coming onto your face as you interact with this lovely young energy. We do love our little ones, don't we? This energy this love is the energy that we call God. Feel it. Know it. Be it. Right here, right now. Let's take a few more moments of silence, and then we'll do one more practice. Just be quiet for a moment. Oh, take a deep breath. Again, kind of clear the slate, shake your Etch-a-Sketch, keep with you the impressions that you have. Take another deep breath. And I want you to imagine a nighttime sky away from the city lights, no clouds blocking your view. You are very relaxed and at peace as you observe the sky. It's deeply dark. The color is hard to describe. Is it blue? Is it purple? Is it black? And it's filled with sparkling stars, more stars than you've ever seen. You can sense a few planets, their light is a little bit different, right? It's steady as opposed to the sparkling energy of the stars. You might see the Milky Way, our own galaxy, crossing your field of vision. Allow yourself to see beyond and beyond. From your safe space, you sense the infinite nature of space. You sense the energy of the universe itself. This energy is the essence of God. Omniscience, omnipotence, omnipresence. Right here, right now. You know that your body is made of the same stuff as those stars and planets. As you exist in your human nature, you are made of star stuff in matter and in spirit. Feel that energy of the universe in a personal way and in a way where you engage with it in that field of stars. Let's move again into a short time of silence together. As we begin to bring our attention back to the here and now, back to the breath in the body, remembering that the word spirit is breath. That breath is present with us through our entire lifetime as humans. Breath equals spirit equals God. So we bring back with us the impressions that we have experienced here this morning. God in nature, God as love, God as the universe. And I'm reminded of the lyrics of songwriter Joni Mitchell when she said, "We are stardust. We are golden. And if we've got to get ourselves back to the garden." And that's just one of those wonderful reminders that turning our attention to spirit and spiritual practice is the way to go, my friends. We must always be pivoting our attention back to the garden, to that sense of knowing and experiencing all that is, that which is called God, not separate from us, but expressing at the point of us. So we close with a simple affirmation today. It's really short. I want you to repeat it 3 times with me. It's the title of my talk for today. God is, I am. We're going to do it 3 times. You ready? Here we go. God is, I am. God is, I am. God is, I am. So I am, my friends. So are you. Thank you so much for being here today. And I'm going to turn it back to our friend, Johnetta.
Thank you so much, Reverend Fair. Thanks for watching the weekly broadcast from Unity of Fredericksburg. Visit our website, uofva.org, to learn more about our mission of spiritual awakening and transformation, and support our ministry with your financial donation. Thanks again for watching, and